So guys, I guess I might be doing 2 Lego histories in a day, or like some days I might be doing 2 Lego histories in a day. But today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow will be a double Lego history day. Also, here's the short bio. So here's the short bio for NBC. The National Broadcasting Company, NBC, has used several corporate logos over the course of its history. The first logo was used in 1926 when the radio network began operations. Its most famous logo, the peacock, was first used in 1956 to highlight the network's color programming. While it has been in use in one form or another for all but 4 years since then, the peacock did not become part of NBC's main logo until 1979. It did not become the network's sole logo until 1987. The first logo incorporated design from then parent company RCA and was a unique logo not related to the NBC radio network. Now, so something to point out: I did not put the website on last episode's Logo history, which is ABC's, because my storage was actually running out. And I had to delete the footage. And also, today's Logo history is going to be different because instead of just going on Logopedia, I'm going to be downloading Logo files and then just adding text to them. And just like describing their logos and stuff. That's basically all for the NBC episode. I'm not telling you that this is it. I'm telling you that the following thing is going to be happening for the next. I'm just going to be telling you that that's what we're going to do today in this Logo Histories episode. And without further ado, let's just go to the website. Alright guys, so this is NBC's website. The Voice, Mondays, 8 to 7 CN Tuesdays. Okay, the Deal or No Deal Island. One Chicago. Password, Apples Never Fall. And then we got trending. We got latest episodes. Trending now. One Chicago, Night Court, Extended Family, The Voice. Password, Deal or No Deal Island, Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, Law and Order, Organized Crime, Law and Order Today, Saturday Night Live, Dateline, The Irrational, Quantum Leap, La Brea, Transplant, Found, The Tonight Show. Okay, it's a lot of shows. We got some live games, live sports, and live now. New episodes available. Access Daily, The Kelly Clarkson Show. I really do not want to waste my storage just reading all these shows' names. Got latest late night clips, featured networks, Bravo, CNBC, Peacock, MSNBC, Oxygen, Sci-Fi, Telemundo, Universo, and USA. And then NBC, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, and YouTube. NBC Quick Links, Advertise, Link TV Provider, FAQ, Frequently Asked Questions, Casting, Contact Us, Local Schedule, Tickets, and NBC Studio Tour. Corporate Info, Accessibility. Okay, that is just all. Let's just get on with the Logo history now. 1926 to 1937. NBC, okay, so we got the words NBC in black text, and then we got like a microphone thing with lightning bolts surrounding it on the map of the USA. NBC debuted. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that word. Debuted as a radio network in 1926. With a logo depicting a microphone surrounded by lightning bolts. Superimposed over a map of the United States, the NBC letters appeared in an arc above the graphic. In 1931 to 1943. In 1931, NBC introduced its second logo, a square with a diagonal NBC text in it. The lightning bolts and lightning bolts around the B. This logo was later adopted in 1941 for use as the original logo for the newly formed NBC television network. In 1942, NBC introduced its third logo, consisting of a circle featuring a hand holding an NBC microphone, 2 stars, and a banner saying "Broadcasting in the Public Interest," 1942 to 1943. Also, I know I said 1943 in the last one, but I meant to say 1942. 1943 to 1953. In 1943, NBC introduced its fourth logo, a microphone surrounded by lightning bolts, which was a modification of the original 1926 logo used by the NBC radio network. Lightning bolts were also part of the logo of corporate parent RCA, as well as that of one-time sister company RKO Pictures. The waves on the left side remained for the radio network, and the right waves were meant for the television network. 1946 to 1952. This logo would usually be shown at the end of a program with a rounded rectangle border around it. Although not the very first instances of them, the famous NBC chimes made their television introduction with this logo, with one of the letters of NBC lighting up when the chimes happened in order. This sequence would continue with the next logo. Despite being replaced by the 1953 logo, this logo was still seen on kinescopes until 1966. The latest known use of this logo was on the 2 known pilots of It Had to Be You, which were apparently taped on November 7, 1966. In 1953, a stylized xylophone and mallet were introduced, symbolizing the NBC chimes, which were first heard on NBC radio in 1927 as a 7-tone sequence. The current tones, which were first adopted in 1929 as a simplified cue for identification of its radio affiliates because of issues for orchestrating the 7 notes properly, are only 3 notes: G, E, and C. There is some indication that the xylophone logo was used at 3:52 p.m. Eastern Time on December 17th, 1953, to announce the Federal Communications Commission's FCC approval of the new color standard, which would go into effect 30 days later. This logo debuted in December 1953 during the Tournament of Roses parade. Okay, that was a long one to read. In 1956, John J. Graham and Herb Lubalin of Sutler and Hennessy designed a new symbol for the network, an abstraction of an 11-feathered peacock indicating richness in color. This brightly hued peacock, which NBC called the Bird, was adopted due to the increase in color programming. Several modifications were made by NBC before the emblem made its first on-air appearance on May 22nd. The most famous version of this appeared in 1962 during a telecast of the Western series Laramie, leading it to be dubbed the Laramie Peacock, and would continue to be used until 1975. And here's an ident. Well, here's a logo that has been used on TV. Yeah, it's going to be HD now.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Starting in late 1955 to 1975. Starting in late 1959, a new animated logo designed by John J. Graham joined the peacock logo, appearing at the end of every show. Starting with the N, each letter would grow from the other, forming a stacked typographic logo featuring an NB ligature with the C forming the base. This would be known as the NBC snake. Several versions of this exist. The first is a snake forming in front of a multicolored background, while an RCA TK40 or TK41 camera passes by with a jazz rendition of the NBC chimes, while the second consists of the snake forming against a color-changing background, going from blue to green to red on each note on the regular automated NBC chimes. I'm going to show you the color changing one right now. In 1976 to 1979, NBC announced an update to its image in October 1975 with the introduction of an abstract N, a bold, bright, and contemporary design consisting of two trapezoids, one red and one blue, and made its on-screen debut on New Year's Day, 1976. One of the technological innovations of this logo was its use in the first electronically animated ident for an American television network. In February 1976, Nebraska ETV, the PBS member network for Nebraska, filed a trademark infringement lawsuit against NBC. The new NBC logo was virtually identical to the logo that Nebraska ETV had been using since June 1975, with the only cosmetic difference between the two designs being that the right trapezoid of the NBC logo had blue coloring. An out-of-court settlement has reached in which NBC gave Nebraska ETV over $800,000 worth of new equipment, including a color mobile unit, and also paid Nebraska ETV over $55,000 to cover the cost of designing and implementing a new logo. In return, NBC was allowed to keep the N logo. 1979 and 1986, the Peacock returned as part of NBC's branding on May 14th, 1979. The N and the Peacock were combined together to create a design called the Proud N, designed by Terry Glazer and Veskin Kalajan Lippincott and Margulies for the departed from that company to start their own firm. On several occasions, the new simplified peacock was used on its own, starting with the new Proud as a Peacock advertising campaign. However, the N and the peacock were usually combined. However, unlike the original peacock design, which featured 11 different colors, this version only used 6 colors for all 11 feathers. On May 12, 1986, during the finale of the NBC 60th anniversary celebration special, past and present NBC stars stood on stage to introduce a new logo, a simplified peacock icon ending the arranged marriage of the N and the peacock. The peacock's head was now flipped to the right, as suggests it was looking forward to the future rather than back to the past, and the white plume on its head was eliminated. The bottom portion now also resembles a film canister. The peacock's feathers were now shortened to 6 and include the 6 primary and secondary colors in the RYB colored palette to represent NBC's 6 divisions: yellow for news, orange for sports, red for entertainment, violet for stations, blue for network, and green for productions. This peacock remains one of the world's most recognized logos. 2001 to 2013. On September 14, 2009, a gradient was added to the 1986 logo for use in NBC's more colorful campaign. Although the 2006 color bug were used for HD programming remained, it was later used for NBC News until 2023. 2011 to 2013. In 2011, NBC introduced a glossy 3D version of the 1986 logo for use in promotional advertising and idents. However, the 2006 color bug used for HD programming and more elements of the more colorful rebrand remained in use. After its introduction, a few NBC stations incorporated the glossy variant into their station logos. with the owned and operated Chicago station WMAQ-TV being the first to do so in February 2012. Also, I know about the mistake I did in the last logo. I said 2011 to 2013 when it was really 2011. When it was really 2009 to 2011. On September 30, 2013, NBC slightly revises Peacock. The beak is now slightly thinner. No, the beak is now slightly larger. The feathers are slightly thinner, and the logo itself is glossier. The watermark below the peacock symbol was also reinstated, with the font resembling that used by the 2012 relaunch of the NBC Sports Network. This modification was added to the on-screen bug on June 10th, 2013. Had to get some time for that one. 2018 to 2022. On September 17, 2018, the font used on air by the network was switched over to the custom-made NBC Tinker, which is also reflected in the logo. 2022 to the present, a new version of the NBC logo, bearing a slight resemblance to the 1986 logo, was revealed in November 2022. The logos were adjusted to match the logo of streaming service Peacock. The feathers have been moved slightly to make them more balanced. The white trim forming the peacock's body and bordering its feathers has been removed. The beak is slightly larger, making it appear more prominent, and the watermark is now embroidered. You know, the text is so small I can't even see it. Emboldened. The network's primary typeface is now NBC Tinker Pro, an updated and expanded version of NBC Tinker. That's all the logos. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me in the comments if you enjoyed. I really hope you enjoyed this. I stayed up until 12:30 just to make this.